Hey fam, it's Dasa. Let me know what you think
Governor
about this.
Abbott of Texas just used the supreme law of the land to outweigh the Supreme Court of the feds. Y'all know what that means? The Civil War just started.
Okay, let's put it together. The Euphrates River is dry. Ukraine and Russia have been fighting, and we just stopped talking about it like that's not the beginning of World War III. Take a look at these quotes. He said it has already begun. Anybody who thinks that World War III hasn't begun is sadly mistaken. They haven't seen anything like this since World War II. 66,000 troops have been killed, and that's just on one side. But guess who has their hand in it? Yes, the U.S. supplying arms. Then we have Israel.
Good afternoon. I'm Israeli government spokesperson Ilana Stein. This is day 115th of the October 7th war.
October 7th was the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles. Very important.
Tensions are escalating in the Middle East as U.S. airstrikes hit more militant targets, and the war between Israel and Hamas shows no signs of winding down.
The U.S. has their hand in that as well. But let's go back to the Civil War. I can't help but think about scenes from movies like Leave the World Behind. He left behind the Spanish-speaking woman even though she was in distress. And it was a horrible time. Was that a message aside from the civil unrest that was mentioned? Well, listen to A24.
Swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
So let's take a
Video
look at
from the
what
Mexican
has
side of the
caused
border,
this
across from Eagle
tension.
Pass at Piedras Negras, shows the covered bodies of the woman and her 2 children who drowned in the Rio Grande late Friday night. Another woman who was rescued and was part of the group trying to cross says those who died were her sister and nephews. U.S. border officials say they were physically blocked by Texas military authorities deployed by Governor Abbott to the Eagle Pass area from attempting a rescue in the river.
Aims for help in the Rio Grande. This body cam video from a Texas DPS Marine unit showing a rescue in real time. Operators pulling a mother and 2 children from the water, caught in a dangerous current.
This is nothing new. They have been rescuing those who have been doing everything that they can to make it over the border illegally. Well, the difference is Governor Abbott says that Biden is aiding the foreign invasion of America. And so he is going to do everything that he can to defend his state's sovereignty. He then placed razor wire around the border. Well, Biden had his people come by, take it down, said that Texas was preventing the Border Patrol from doing their jobs. And Texas turned around and said that Biden has a reckless open border policy. Well, in October 2023, Paxton sued the Biden administration for destroying their razor wire. It has been a back and forth battle ever since. Abbott quickly got a restraining order from a federal judge who then turned around and denied a temporary injunction at a trial. Well, an appeal was filed by Biden and was granted that the barbed wire could remain unless medical aid was needed. Biden's request was approved by a 5-4 vote. But 25 Republicans have since shown favor for Abbott. Other states have joined in. For example, Idaho has sent 2 teams of state police to help support the National Guard, who have already begun to stand guard at the state line. And it's not just these 2 states, but other states are joining in.
And I want to talk about another top issue, the border. I'm ready to solve the problem. I really am. Massive changes. And I mean it sincerely.
But the president, he is a president for all Americans. We will not shy away from calling out what we see as political games from the governor. Because it is not safe. It does not protect our communities. It doesn't help Border Patrol to do their jobs. So we will continue to call that out. That's not going to hold us back.
You have red and blue states all across this country that are being forced to step up because the federal government has failed to do its job. Every state in America is now a border state. Right here in Texas, Governor Abbott has heroically done more to enforce the law than the president has.
Former President Donald Trump has put himself right in the middle of Governor Greg Abbott's battle with the White House over border security. On Thursday, Trump asked for all willing governors to send their National Guard troops to help send migrants back across the border.
This Governor Greg Abbott said his state will continue to hold the line against the Biden administration's border crisis.
The concern should be, where do we draw the line? Is human life more important than a border? But what I cannot help but focus on are the words that are being spoken. For example, in this letter that was written by Governor Abbott, it starts out saying, the federal government has broken the compact between the United States and the states. The executive branch of the United States has a constitutional duty to enforce federal laws protecting the states, including immigration law on the books right now. And then at the end of this letter, it goes into very grave detail, and it says, the failure of the Biden administration to fulfill the duties imposed by Article 4, and then he gives the information, which reserves to this state the right of self-defense. For these reasons, I have already declared an invasion under Article 1, something 10, Clause 3, to include Texas constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. The Texas National Guard, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and other Texas personnel are acting on that authority, as well as state law, to secure the Texas border. So how far is this really going to go? How many states are going to join in? Are they going to team up against each other? Did we forget that World War III has already begun and we have enemies? Do we need to turn on ourselves?
The people who are coming here are looking for a better life to do it the right way and be processed through the POEs as the country requires them to be. So,
but regardless of whether they do or not, there's actions that the president can take right now to help the governor instead of working against him.
It takes a lot of soldiers, a lot of manpower. So during deployment times, we set up the full structure like we would during a deployment. So we have a full security, 360-degree security around us.
Governor Greg Abbott said in an interview Friday that Texas is prepared for any conflict between state and federal authorities.
So what do you think? Drop your comments. Peace.